Hey friends, welcome back to another Dollar Tree DIY. Today we are going to be making a Dollar Tree Witch's Brew. For today's design, you're going to need a black foam board. You're going to need these glitter ornaments. I chose every design they had, which was 3 of them. I also got a pack of the glitter vase filler, an orange boa, a witch's cauldron. You'll also need a yardstake. You can choose whatever you want. And I also got these glitter bats, 2 packages of the table tennis, and baseballs that I spray painted with this Glows spray paint. I already had this on hand. I'll have this brand in my Amazon favorites, or you can pick it up at Walmart. I used the top of one of my containers to hold everything still, and then I sprayed all of the balls with the Glows spray paint. Make sure you're in a very well ventilated area when you are spraying any spray paint, especially this one because it is really stinky. While those are drying, I'm going to take the cauldron and start making my way through this. You want to cut it straight in the middle. I actually heated up the razor knife, but it did not make any difference. Just get a hole in there any way you can and start working it back and forth until it cuts. I feel like if this was maybe set in the driveway for a little while and the plastic was a little more pliable, it would have worked better, because the more way I got with it, I noticed it was just breaking. But that is okay. We are going to make sure we clean it all up. You'll be able to use the razor knife and scissors, and it is fine. Just try to make it as straight as you possibly can, and anywhere that it's not straight, just kind of clean it up a little bit. Once that's all cut, try your best to get this tag off. You definitely don't want to leave this on and see it while it's hanging up. Then I'm going to take the foam board, lay it flat, and I'm going to put this cauldron on it and try to cut out a space for it so I can fill in the back. So getting this to fit on this foam board was probably the most difficult part of this project. I cut a piece out, it didn't completely work, so I just laid the cauldron down on the foam board, glued it the best I could. As you can see here, it is still attached. I have it glued all on the inside. I took pieces of the foam board to kind of fill in any of the gaps, did a healthy dose of glue all around, and then I'm going to cut some pieces to fill in these edges over here. It doesn't have to look pretty because all of this is going to be hidden. Once the cauldron is laying flat on the foam board, as you saw, I am just going to cut around it with my razor knife. Be careful not to nick the cauldron because it definitely would have been easy to do. And if you make it the cut a little bit larger than your cauldron, that is okay, because honestly, the foam board can be cut away so smoothly, as you will see me demonstrate. This was so easy to cut, and the extra pieces around it, as I had mentioned, cut so smoothly. Now I'm going to take another piece of the foam board and trace the inside of it, because that is a piece that I'm going to have to cut to fill in any of the gaps. Like I've already mentioned, you don't have to make sure this is pretty. It will get all covered, but just make sure there are no big gaping holes, because you want to have a solid surface on the inside to put a base for the bottom for the balls to sit, and then have a place for the balls to glue onto. You could add a bunch of like foam squares, but I figured since I already had the board, I would just make sure to glue it in here. You want to have this base higher up so the balls can sit right on top. I'm going to spray paint the handle, this metallic silver. It's something I already had on hand. Okay, so I want to see real quick if I got enough spray on these. I'm going to take these in a really dark room and see how we did. Oh my goodness, guys, look! Oh my goodness. Look at these. These look so good, and now I can see which ones need to be sprayed a little bit more. I'm sorry, but these are amazing. Time to take the yardstick. You want to cut the tag off, but make sure to leave the string because you're going to need that to hang this entire thing up on. And then you're going to place your cauldron wherever you want it. I wanted it higher up. I didn't want too much of the wicked hanging out. And I'm going to trace on the bottom where I want to cut it. And I'm just going to use my razor cutter. I'm going to score the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to snap it off.
I wanna know, was it serious? I need to clear my...
Again, with a healthy dose of glue, I use the Gorilla Super Glue. It's my favorite. I put a lot of it on here because this cauldron's going to be holding the balls and it's going to get a little bit heavier, so I want to make sure it is very secure.
It's not a game that I am playing.
I will also reinforce the top here and the back.
Find the best way I think that I might. I know you made it in the nick of time.
So this is just an added piece I figured to do at the very last minute. This wasn't a part of the original plan. I found some of this neon green mesh. I already had it on hand, but I do know the dollar store sells it, so I'm just gonna say $1 for this because you don't need very much at all. I just kind of eyed about 24 inches, and I am going to roll it into itself. As you see, mesh pretty much rolls in like you see here. And I'm going to add this as an extra touch to the cauldron underneath all of the balls. You're going to start lining the back first and just pressing the mesh. I would recommend using that little black stick there from the extra piece of the wood stake to push the glue, because I burned myself several times. This glue is super hot and the mesh has a ton of little holes in it and it does seep through.
It's the best light I know. It's not a game that I am playing. My love, trying to hold my feeling, I don't know what's right. I'll find the best way I think that I might.
Now that that is all done, I am so excited. It is time to start gluing these little balls in here. I started with the bigger one first. This is the baseball that was spray painted with the Glows paint, and I just put a lot of super glue on the bottom and just pressed it in there, and that is all I do. I just take, and for all the ornaments, I take off the little hanger piece, a little gold piece. Some of them are dented and a little messed up, but it doesn't bother me at all. I just glue it so you can't see it, and I will do this and start adding different balls all in here. You want to kind of go with your imagination. I wanted to vary from the white ones and then the sparkly gold or glitter ones, so just let your imagination run wild and start adding them in here however you choose. Here's a little pro tip. You want to have something to hold the project up. As you see here, I've got this box behind it. You need it sitting up properly when you're gluing all of the balls in here. It just makes it so much easier.
I think we're made of something.
This project was quite time consuming. It did take me all day, mainly because when you're holding the balls on here, you need to hold it pretty firm until the glue sets a little bit, because obviously gravity takes over and they want to fall down. The Gorilla Glue is really good, but it is important, as you saw those there, to hold these on here until they are completely dry. For the balls on the bottom, I decided to lay the cauldron down and start working it out. I wanted the brew to look like it was bubbling over. That was kind of the effect I was going for, as you see. So at this stage of it, you need to lay it down. I'm going to start putting these glitter vase filler all over. Wherever I felt like there was a little bit of a hole, I wanted to add these. And I can honestly say this was my favorite part because it just made the entire project come alive. It was so much fun to do, and you can kind of fill in all the spaces, and there was a lot of different sizes. So again, just let your imagination go with it. You can have so much fun with this. This part here where I'm adding the boa, I wanted it to look like fire, so I'm just doing some glue, a beaded glue all across the bottom of the cauldron and laying the boa on top. Any of the extra piece you can just cut off as you see me do here, and then glue on the other side. This was so much fun because I felt like it made it look so real and so fun. Okay, Ruby approves. There she is. I love the way this DIY came out. So fun. I used less items than I anticipated. So in total, this came out to about like $8 or $9, which you can't beat that. I cannot wait to show this off this year. It is so fun and so festive. And who doesn't love a whole bunch of glitter? It came out so cute. I have already gotten so many compliments on it. If you guys love Dollar Tree DIYs, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I'd love for you to consider subscribing if you haven't yet already, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye!